Good morning. My name is Donna Marie Collins. I'm the hearing examiner presiding over the zoning application. The case number is REZ 2024-00007. It's a conventional rezoning to the community commercial zoning district. The case name is 5800 Bayshore Road. All testimony and evidence that I accept during these hearings must be taken in under oath. I will administer the oath to everyone in the room at the conclusion of my remarks. Just to double check, do we have members of the public here today?
Nope.
No? Okay, well then I will abbreviate my introduction and I will go right to the oath and then we can begin. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony and evidence you place into the record will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may begin.
You ready?
Yes.
Wow. Good morning. For the record, James Inc., Engineering. It's been 10 months since I've been here, but I've been here numerous times before and deemed an expert in planning and civil engineering, and wish to continue to do so.
Yes, you may continue.
What I'm going to hand you is Exhibit 1, the one and only exhibit. That is the PowerPoint presentation that we're going to talk about. And just a brief introduction to this case. This is on 5800 Bayshore Road. It's out by Tractor Supply. It is 3 lots. The first lot is 1 acre C1. The back 2 lots are 1/4 acre AG2 non-conforming lots. We're trying to find a conventional zoning category to put it in to keep it all as one so it can be developed. So with that, we'll do the formal presentation. What's before you is REZ 2024-00007, 5800 Bayshore, a conventional zoning request. The team members, the owner developer is Big Ass Truck Wash. I think you can figure out what the intended use is. From that, Vincent Maloney and Isaac Frigga, who are not present today. And then, since this is conventional, I'm handling the planning, James Inc. Engineering. In the audience is Ron Edenfield, who's part of the team from the civil perspective. But being conventional, I don't think there's any real testimony that he'll give, but he's here if that needs to be done. The request is to rezone 3 contiguous parcels zoning 1.48 acres from C1 and AG2 to community commercial CC. The C1 parcel is 1 acre. It's on the front's Bayshore Road. The back 2 AG parcels total 0.48 acres, and it's to unify this parcel into a CC conventional zoning in central urban, which is appropriate, and adjacent to Bayshore Road, which is a big multi-lane arterial roadway. So that's what we're requesting. Current conditions, as I stated, the future land use is central urban, the zoning C1 and AG2, potable water is provided by Lee County Utilities, sanitary sewer is provided by Florida Governmental Utility Authority, fire district is North Myers, archaeological sensitive is 2, the flux is 1400, commercial services, that's off of the county GIS system. That's not us. We just took it off of there. The soil's the same off the GIS system, and we're okay with is Wasabo sand, which is suitable for development. It is on Lee Tran Route 590, which goes out to Coon Road and loops around and comes back out. The planning community is North Fort Myers, and the current use is vacant. We have all the appropriate letters in the file of, bless you, letters of availability and such that the parcel can be serviced as it needs to be. Survey, this shows the survey, and it shows the front lot, and it shows the 2 back lots. That's parcel 2 and parcel 3. Have note, those 1-story mobile homes that it shows on the survey have been removed. There is no residential use on the property right now. And there is an easement for those two lots, it runs through the center of the property in the development order stage. We'll get that extinguished along with redoing the strap numbers to one strap number once it's under unified zoning. So that part will be cleaned up as we go to the next phase. Talking about lead plan consistency, which we have to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. In pink is the property. You can see it's completely surrounded by central urban, which is a very intense future land use that allows this type of property. And when we do the zoning, you'll see how it's even more appropriate from that standpoint. But as Madam Examiner likes, I'll go through some of the policies that back up why we think it's there and appropriate. Policy 1.1.3, I'm not going to read it all, but it basically in there in the central use, it does talk about residential, commercial, public, quasi-productive, and even light limited industrial land. So a CC is kind of in the middle between less intense residential and light industrial. So in this place, we believe we're consistent with 1.1.3. Objective 2, the location, continuous compact growth patterns. As I showed in the previous slide we're sitting in the middle of central urban, so we're more, by definition, we're an infill project to do this, to get this cleaned up. It's along Bayshore Road, which will be adequate access. 2.2.1, rezoning DR parts. We've evaluated for ability and proximity of the road network. FDOT, multi-lane arterial with lots of capacity for what could be put on an 1.5 acre piece of property. So we don't see any problem there. Services, we have all the services have said they can provide it. Compatible surrounding land use, we have commercial uses on all sides of us, except to the south. There's one residential sitting on about a 2.5 acre parcel, which in the developmental stage we'll have to handle with the appropriate buffers in Chapter 10. So we think we're very compatible with the neighborhood the way it is. 2.2.2 has the density ranges and Table 1B, which I'll show you in a second of what that is, but there's 3 criteria: whether a given proposal would further burden already overwhelmed existing and committed public services. We do not meet that. We have adequate services, so we think that can move forward. Whether a given proposal is for land beyond existing development. I think we've clearly shown that this is infill and we've got development on all sides of us. Whether a given proposal would result in unreasonable development expectations, and that's where it goes into the Table 1B. There's 1,121 acres of commercial development in Table 1B. We're essentially adding 0.48, which is coming out of ag, non-conforming ag. We don't see where that's inconsistent with the comp plan. So we believe we're consistent with 2.2.2. Standard 141 water and 1.1.2 sewer. We've got letters of availability from both Lee County Utilities for potable water and for sanitary sewer provided by Florida Gulf Utilities. They have a force main, albeit it's on the wrong side of the road, but it's inside the right of way, so we can access it. Expensive, but easy. 6.1.1, all applications for commercial development will be reviewed and evaluated too. Traffic and access impacts. Lee County DOT usually defers this to FDOT because it's an FDOT road, so we'll have to go through FDOT, but we know we have enough capacity on the road. There might be some little difficulties that we'll resolve on actually access because it's close to Brewer Road, but that's an FDOT thing. Landscaping and detailed site planning. That's a development order stage that we have to be consistent with 10-415, which is not a problem. Screening and buffering is the same on a development order. Availability of services, I've already said that like 3 or 4 times that we have that. Impact on adjacent land uses. When I get to zoning, you'll see the land use of actual zoning districts around it to see that we are compatible with that. Proximity to other similar centers during rezoning. We're really not a center, we're community commercial, so we're gonna be a standalone, like our neighbor on both sides of us are standalone commercial facilities. Environmental considerations, we have walked the property and we do not see any vegetative or animal species of concern on the property. There's no wetlands, there's no nothing. We will continue as we go through the development order. It gets that higher standard of look to make sure that, I don't know, we don't have woodpeckers. We don't think we do, but we have to do more when we do the development order. So with that, my opinion is we're consistent with 6.1.1. Getting into the Norfolk Myers Community Plan, which is goal 30, promoting compact mixed-use developments. Well, we're kind of a compact in the older neighborhood is the way we look at this, and it's similar zoning around us. So we feel that taking 2 non-conforming AG lots and converting them to commercial is what's appropriate. Just as a should note, we front parcel C1, so I didn't look into, nor do I think it's appropriate to say, well, we have C1s, so we want to take the AG2s and make them C1. We just looked at the newer code districts and
But
said,
I think you can't do C1 unless you're in an overlay.
yeah, it's an overlay. I just looked at it and
Mixed-use
says,
overlay. You have to be in a mixed use.
yeah, in my opinion, I didn't even attempt to try that because we think C1 is just old zoning. And so we went and looked at the 3 zonings that we could have picked to get where we want to go. Would be commercial highway.
And does this truck wash that's intended for the site fit within the use list?
Yes, that's why we picked. We had 3 choices, and this is the least intense of the 3 choices. So that's why we picked community commercial, because that's all we had were the 3 choices. And even though this is conventional zoning and we don't get into actual uses, just so the examiner knows, we're going to put a truck wash there, and it's essentially the same as a car wash on a 7-Eleven, just bigger.
So will it do cars and trucks,
No.
or is it just
Trucks only.
and
Trucks and RVs,
not pickup trucks?
no.
Bigger trucks than that.
Big trucks.
Dump trucks. cement
Dump trucks, tractor trailers. It's still a drive-through. Well, you park it and the apparatus moves forward and backwards and washes your truck, and then you drive out. So it really is a giant automatic car wash you find at a 7-Eleven. It's just for big vehicles, which is always good to clean them off so we're not dropping dirt and who knows what else in our roadway system and our drainage system. So that's what we're doing. So policy 30-2.25 of corridor overlay district. We're not in an overlay district, but we're going to be compliant with the land development code and all the other requirements that's in chapter 33.
Commercial overlay.
I looked and I didn't think we were.
I think so.
Bayshore Road is
The frontage.
The whole road?
The whole frontage of Bayshore Road is in.
Oh, good. I missed that. We're in an overlay, so that's great. That gives us even more.
Now, there are some restrictions on uses in the commercial overlay. It's in it? Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cam.
Thanks for a rescue. Okay, table 1B, as I said before, has highlighted Norfolk Myers and the commercials, 1,121 acres. We would be adding 0.48 acres to that table, which is, what's the Latin word? De minimis. Very small addition, shouldn't be a problem since it's coming out of
Well,
non-producing ag.
is there capacity left in that district for commercial?
That would have to be,
Well, that's gonna be a development order stage thing, because
Correct.
if it isn't, then you need a plan amendment to accomplish, even if it is de minimis.
Yes. Moving to the zoning, here's the map again with the zoning map, and you can see C1A basically on both sides of the property. We have the CC across the street on various areas, and then to the south is AG2, which from what we can tell has been AG2 since the plan was developed. It's been AG2 for a long time.
Do you have the zoning markings on this? No. Okay.
What do you mean the zoning markets?
There's no zoning markings on this map.
There? Oh, you mean where the boundaries are?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of highlighted yellows.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit different color.
Yeah, I see. So you got CC,
That
CPD.
color right here, that greenish color, I think it's green. I call it light green, so I'm guessing. So it shows that large area to the east is all AG right now. That's got some single family that accesses down Brewer Road. Brewer Road, I don't know if you've been to the property yet. Sometimes you
have.
go early, and Brewer Road is a 20-foot dirt road easement. It's
Right.
not a road. It's a privately owned, it's one of those that's on the deed where the property is subject to 20-foot access easement on the western property, or however the legal side. It is not on our property. Brewer Road is on the adjacent property. Our access is on Bayshore. So C2, there's still some AG. Down farther to the south, there's some RM1. So it's still a mix in Norfolk Myers, but as we run through development, we're going to be sorting a lot of that out and getting a lot of that up to where it's probably more appropriate in today's world. So when we go through, as Madam Examiner knows, 34-145 is what you have to evaluate our request on, and I just wanted to run through them quickly that it complies with the lead plan. I think I've provided policy and goals here and in the packet that supports that we're not inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. Meets the code and other applicable county regulations or qualifies for deviations. Conventional zoning, we don't have any deviations, and we know we're going to have to meet the land development code when we do the development order part of it to meet Chapter 10 and Chapter 34 and Chapter 33 Norfolk Myers parts of those codes. It's compatible with existing and planned uses. I've presented some graphics that we feel that it is consistent. There's commercial on both sides, across the street, and some old ag single family that's not going to be impacted by what this zoning would allow us to do. Expected impacts on transportation facilities. It's an FDOT road. We don't think we're going to be a big traffic generator, but we have to go through the FDOT process to get a driveway access permit and get authorization from them before we can construct anything. It will not adversely affect the environmental areas. We don't see any wetlands have not been identified on the property, and we have not seen any species of special concern on the property with our walkthroughs. And will be served by public services defined in the lead plan. Again, I've presented that. We have water, we have sewer, we have a bus, sheriff's okay, no school board impact because it's commercial opportunity. So in my opinion, I think that we have met all of those hurdles such that the request to rezone these three parcels from C1 and AG2 to community commercial is appropriate. And what it would allow us to do on a commercial is unify the 1.4 acres, allow uses within the commercial corridor zoning district, which we talked briefly about, but really doesn't apply in a conventional zoning, and ensure development consistent with the land development code is what we will do. And that concludes my presentation. And questions or
I don't have any questions.
comments or anything?
I have no questions.
I think it's very straightforward.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, my name is Khalil Muhammad. I'm a planner with the zoning section of Lee County Community Development. I have been accepted as an expert witness in the Land Development Code as well as the Lee Plan, and my resume is on file. This morning, we are hearing the case REZ2024-00007, rezoning for 5800 Bayshore Road. The applicant's request statement, the applicant, Inc. Engineering, is requesting to rezone approximately 1.48 acres from the commercial C1A zoning district as well as agricultural AG2 to community commercial. I would like to make a statement for the record with review in conjunction with the county's GIS specialist. We've determined that there was Scrivener's error within the classification of the zoning of the 1 acre parcel adjacent to Bayshore Road. The zoning is actually C1A and that's been like, the A has been dropped from some of the resolutions passed within the area, and specifically the zoning resolution that converted this parcel from BU1A to C1A.
So the request is actually to rezone from C1A and Ag to
CC.
CC.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I will make a note of that.
Property information, the strap number, address is 5800 Bayshore. We've got approximately 1.48 acres in the central urban future land use corridor category along or within the North Fort Myers commercial corridor. Being that the property is located within the North Fort Myers commercial corridor, it is subject to the North Fort Myers community plan area. Most of those requirements are specified in LDC section 331566, as well as Lee Plan Objective 30 or Goal 30. Parcel history. The property is located at 5800 Bayshore with additional parcels that are contiguous, 5830 as well as 5840 Bayshore. The original property, 5800 Bayshore, was rezoned by Resolution Z74-337, which approved a rezone from agricultural AU to neighborhood retail business district BU1A, which was subsequently converted from AU to AG2 as well as from BU1A to C1A. The property located at 5840 was granted a special permit approved by Resolution Z76-217 to allow for the development and construction of a mobile home within the AU zoning district. Uses approved by special exception or other permits which were issued or granted by the Board of County Commissioners before the effective dates of the Land Development Code and which are no longer in the permitted are no longer permitted in the zoning district where located shall be considered to be non-conforming uses. As subject of this rezone, that or those mobile homes would become non-conforming uses that exist on property that is voluntarily made subject of a zoning action, which is not specifically permitted under the zoning approval requested, and ultimately would become an illegal use in regard to the zoning approval. Any use deemed illegal under this section must be ceased and discontinued immediately. As the applicant has mentioned, those residences will be removed or have been already.
They are now removed.
We've got the parcels in question are within the central urban future land use category, and they are zoned C1A as well as AG2. Surrounding properties to the north of the subject properties are parcels zoned community commercial. To the south, agriculturally zoned parcels, as the applicant has mentioned. To the east and west are both commercially zoned parcels, zoned C1A. Zoning matters are reviewed based on criteria held within LDC Section 34145D, and the remainder of this presentation will address these specific
Okay.
review criteria. Lead Plan Policy 1.1.3 states that this category, central urban, has best been categorized as the urban core of the county. These areas are already and most heavily settled and have or will have the greatest range and highest levels of public services. Lead Plan policies regarding growth management. Objective 2.1, this site is located along Bayshore Road within the North Fort Myers Community Plan Area Commercial Corridor and is in line with the policy's intent. The location of the property makes it suitable for commercial uses, and the request does not bypass tracts of land. As the applicant mentioned, this would be more of an infill project and would support the development by virtue of the presence of other existing commercially zoned parcels located along the arterial road, Bayshore Road. Objective 2.2, this would direct new growth to those portions of the future urban areas where adequate public facilities exist or are assured and where compact and contiguous development patterns can be created. These parcels are contiguous and have been served by those specific utilities necessary. Provided that the property will be served by Lee County Utilities and Florida Governmental Utility Authority. The proposed rezone is compliant as the property has frontage and is within those service areas. Lead Plan Policy for Lead Plan Standards 4.1.1 and 4.1.2. As previously stated, the applicant has provided a letter of availability from Lee County Utilities stating potable water services available to support the project, as well as a letter from Florida Governmental Utility Authority for the availability of sanitary sewer. The developer would be required to undertake any improvements that may be required to connect the project to those existing services. The applicant's requesting approval of a conventional rezoning, and at the time of development order, the applicant must comply with the Land Development Code. All projects must provide specific open space pursuant to LDC Section 10415. Lead Plan policies regarding commercial land uses. Policy 6.1.1, all applicants for commercial development will be reviewed and evaluated as to traffic and access impacts. The parcel is located along a state-maintained arterial road, so I believe that traffic and access are to be sufficient. Landscaping and detailed site planning, that would be more so discussed during the development order stage and their adherence to the required LDC section 10415. Screening and buffering would also have to be compliant at the time of development order. Availability and adequacy of services and facilities. As discussed, there is adequate public services, including water and sewer. Impact on adjacent land uses and surrounding neighborhoods. Adjacent properties are zoned for and developed with commercial uses, with a few residential uses located to the south, as mentioned. Land Development Code compliant buffering will mitigate any impacts to adjacent properties and will be assessed at time of development order. Proximity to other similar centers. The request represents a continuation of commercial properties that front Bayshore Road in the North Fort Myers Community Plan Area's commercial corridor. The request will unify the properties, 3 contiguous properties under one consistent zoning. Environmental considerations. There are no apparent significant environmental features on the site. However, compliance with required land development code is required at the time of development order. Policy 6.1.4, commercial development will be approved only when compatible with adjacent existing and proposed land uses. As we've mentioned, this parcel is within a commercial corridor, having commercial uses to the east and west, as well as to the north. Lee Plan policies regarding the North Fort Myers Community Plan Area. Goal 30 aims to improve the livability and economic vitality within the North Fort Myers Community Plan Area by promoting compact mixed-use development in the form of town and neighborhood centers, attracting appropriate investments to revitalize older neighborhoods and commercial corridors. This proposed rezoning will facilitate the creation of a site of consistent commercial zoning to allow for the development of an infill project along the Bayshore Road commercial corridor. Policy 30.2.5, certain areas along the major road corridors outside designated town centers and neighborhood centers are located within a corridor overlay district with provisions in the LDC requiring enhanced landscaping, greater buffering, and shading of parking. The applicant confirms development will be compliant with the Land Development Code requirements set forth in Chapter 33 of the North Fort Myers Community Plan Area. Buffering and screening are to comply with LDC Section 33-1581B, Table 1 and Table 2. Property to the north abutting the right-of-way requires a 20-foot wide right-of-way buffer of 5 trees per 100 linear feet. To the west, abutting C1A requires a 5-foot wide buffer, commercial to commercial buffer of minimum 4 trees per 100 linear feet. To the east would be the exact same buffering requirements. To the south would require a 5-foot wide commercial to agricultural buffer of minimum 4 trees per 100 linear feet. LDC Section 34-1353E includes design requirements for specific uses such as car washes and will supersede any other design requirements of the North Fort Myers Community Plan Area, specific to these. Open space and indigenous open space. Open space requirements for any developments classified as a small development as a commercial use would require 20% of open space, and those open space requirements are held within LDC Section 10415. The available public services. Public utilities provided potable water by Lee County Utilities. Sanitary sewer would be provided by Florida Governmental Utility Authority. Any emergency services are to be provided by North Fort Myers Fire Station number 3, located at 16290 Slater Road, approximately a mile from the subject properties. EMS services are to be provided by North Fort Myers Medic number 7, located at 121 Pondella Road, approximately 2.6 miles from the subject properties. Public transit, there is an available route, Route 590, and the bus stop is within a quarter mile of the subject property. Transportation, there are no anticipated negative impacts to the surrounding roadway system. Staff findings, the requested rezoning from commercial C1A and agricultural AG2 to community commercial CC is consistent with the Lee Plan and Land Development Code. The proposed rezoning provides consistency with allowable commercial development within the central urban future land use category. Staff has concluded that the rezoning will not result in negative impacts to urban services, infrastructure, or surrounding properties. The subject property is sufficiently served by fire, police, and emergency services personnel, as well as access to public transit routes and urban services. The request will not adversely affect environmentally critical or sensitive areas, as there have not been any identified. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the applicant's request.
Thank you.
No problem.
I have a question regarding access. Is Brewer Road a county-maintained local road, or is
No.
it
It's
a
a
private
privately
road?
maintained
It's a
local road.
private 20-foot access easement.
From the GIS map, it states privately maintained local road.
Okay. And right now, it's like, it seemed like it was like a crushed shell or,
Yes. It stops.
Yes, after the landscaping company, it turns to dirt.
Yep.
It's just that first 150 feet in
right?
front of the landscape company. It is crushed shell, millings, it's a combination of things.
So is the plan to have the sole ingress and egress from Bayshore Road?
Yes, we have 2 accesses on
Will you
Bayshore.
have, are you grandfathered in from FDOT, or how does that work? Because I know they're fussy about their accesses to Bayshore.
We do not have legal access to Brewer Road,
Okay,
or we believe we don't have it. We've researched it, and we don't believe the intent of that road was to give access to our property.
okay.
So,
Because that seems like you would have a better circulation if you only had trucks coming in one way and out the other.
100%.
That
It's-
can make the.
It's a very challenging site plan as of today.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised that they would choose to have a truck wash so far inland from the interstate. Seems like a use like that might be more appropriate close to the interstate.
Not the owner.
No, certainly not. But that doesn't matter. It's certainly appropriate for community commercial designation and the uses that are permitted in that district. And that's the question that's before me today. So-
May I add something to the record?
Yes, absolutely.
For the record, Jim Bank, 2 things. One, I really enjoy coming to Lee County because staff has their act together. I work in a lot of other jurisdictions. Got to give them a little shout out that they really do a good job here.
I agree.
Number 2, I omitted out of my presentation that we did go to the Norfolk Myers Community Association August of last year to present to meet that check mark.
Okay, I think I saw an exhibit in this.
There's an exhibit in the file, but I didn't put it in the public record.
All right, so you've complied with that.
I complied,
requirement of the
yes.
Community plan. All right, thank you. Is there anything further that needs to be placed into the record? Well, then I thank you both for a very comprehensive presentation. As I mentioned, I've already conducted my site visit, so I'll be turning my attention to this case, and hopefully I'll get it out in the next few days. Thank you very much.
Thank you.